Do you think you know what's been watching you through reflections all these years? What if I told you that the face you occasionally glimpse in windows, mirrors, and darkened screens isn't just your imagination? The truth about Sam has been systematically erased from public record since the first documented incident in 1952. Tonight, I'm going to reveal what authorities have been desperately trying to hide. The entity we now call Sam first appeared in documented form on June 17, 1952, in Ashland, Nebraska. Local resident Marion Keller reported seeing a man's face with hollow eyes, watching her from her bathroom mirror, though no one was standing behind her. Most dismissed it as the imagination of a lonely widow. Most were wrong. 3 days after her report, Marion was found dead in her bathroom. The official cause was listed as cardiac arrest, but the responding officer, Deputy James Whitfield, noted in his personal journal, discovered decades later in his attic, that Marion's eyes appeared completely drained of color, and the bathroom mirror was cracked in a perfect spiderweb pattern. The Marion Keller incident would have remained isolated if not for what happened next. 7 weeks later, in Pikeville, Kentucky, coal miner Thomas Jennings told his wife he kept seeing a watching man in the dark glass of their radio cabinet. His wife, Ruth, later told investigators he described the face as familiar but wrong, like someone wearing someone else's features. Thomas disappeared on August 4th. The official report cited desertion, common enough in struggling mining communities. His lunch pail was found at the bottom of mine shaft number 7, containing a piece of glass with what appeared to be fingerprints on both sides. These incidents remained disconnected until Professor Raymond Strauss of Miskatonic University began collecting accounts of what he termed reflective entities in 1967. His work was never published through traditional academic channels. Instead, Strauss self-published a limited collection of 100 monographs titled Watchers in the Glass. The university denies any record of this publication. 73 copies were confiscated by unknown federal agents in 1968. 17 copies are rumored to remain in private collections. The rest were destroyed. According to the only surviving excerpt from Strauss's research, housed in the closed stacks of the Wasserman Private Library in Boston, the entity conforms to a specific pattern of manifestation. First sighting in reflective surfaces, followed by escalating appearances, culminating in what Strauss called the substitution. Strauss himself disappeared in November 1968, 3 days after his final journal entry, which read only, "It's not watching from the mirror, it's watching through the mirror." The phenomenon remained relatively dormant through the 1970s, with only 6 documented cases that match the pattern. All 6 involved individuals who lived alone, all reported seeing someone else in mirrors or windows, and all were found dead or missing within 1 week of their initial report. Authorities classified these as isolated incidents. They weren't. The pattern changed dramatically in 1983. On October 14th, 7 residents of the Clearwater apartments in Portland, Oregon, independently reported seeing the same face in various reflective surfaces throughout the building. Building manager Harriet Lowell collected these reports, noting the descriptions were eerily similar. Male, indeterminate age, hollow eyes, expression like it's trying to remember how to smile. Lowell contacted local police, who dismissed the claims. 3 days later, all 7 residents were found in their respective bathrooms, each one dead from what appeared to be severe dehydration, despite autopsies showing they had consumed normal amounts of water. The mirrors in all 7 apartments had been covered with towels or sheets. The Clearwater incident should have triggered a nationwide investigation. Instead, it triggered a cover-up. According to leaked documents from former CDC analyst Timothy Reynolds, federal agents seized all evidence, including the bathroom mirrors, and the medical examiner was pressured to list the deaths as resulting from contaminated water, despite no contamination being found. Reynolds was discredited, fired, and later died in an apparent hiking accident in 1986. His body was never recovered. The pattern evolved again in the 1990s. The entity began appearing in television screens when powered off. The first confirmed case was the Chambers family in Stillwater, Oklahoma. All 4 family members reported seeing a strange man who wasn't quite right in their unplugged television. The youngest child, 6-year-old Ella, drew a picture of what she called the Sam Man for her kindergarten teacher. The drawing showed a figure with hollow eyes and a too wide mouth behind what appeared to be glass. The teacher, concerned, contacted authorities. The entire Chambers family disappeared overnight on February 23, 1994. Their house was found empty except for every mirror, window, and screen shattered. The investigation was closed within 48 hours. No follow-up was ever documented. Why Sam? The name appears to originate with little Ella Chambers, but the entity has been called many names across different incidents: the Watcher, the Mirror Man, the Glass Face, the Reflection. It's worth noting that in every documented case where a child has encountered the entity, they have intuitively called it Sam, regardless of their location or background. Children see truth, adults cannot. By the early 2000s, the digital age brought new surfaces for Sam to exploit. The first documented case involving a computer monitor occurred in 2001. MIT graduate student Victor Chen was working late in the computer lab when he emailed his advisor about seeing someone else's reflection in his monitor when the screen went dark. His email, recovered from server backups after the university system mysteriously crashed, described a face trying to push through. Chen was found the next morning, slumped over his keyboard. The official cause was listed as an aneurysm, but lab security footage, which also mysteriously disappeared from university archives, reportedly showed Chen backing away from his computer in terror before every light in the lab shorted out simultaneously. The digital evolution of Sam accelerated with smartphones. Between 2010 and 2015, 17 separate cases worldwide involved individuals reporting seeing an unfamiliar face in their phone screens when checking their devices at night. All 17 individuals shared their experiences on social media. All 17 accounts were suspended for violation of terms. All 17 individuals were reported missing within 72 hours of their final post. Their devices were never recovered. The most comprehensive modern investigation into Sam came from freelance journalist Rebecca Torres, who began tracking the pattern in 2018 after her own experience seeing what she described as a face wearing another face in her bathroom mirror. Unlike previous victims, Torres documented everything methodically, creating both physical and cloud backups of her findings. She connected 43 cases across North America and Europe that followed identical patterns. She identified that reflective surfaces were merely Sam's window, not its home. Torres's most disturbing discovery came through pattern recognition across decades of cases. The entity doesn't simply appear to random individuals. It selects targets who have been traumatized, who feel isolated, who question their own perceptions. The perfect victims are those already primed to doubt what they see. Torres theorized that Sam requires invitation, not explicit, but psychological. A moment of vulnerability when the barrier between perception and reality wavers. Torres published her findings on an anonymous server in February 2020. The site received over 100,000 views within 24 hours before being taken down. Torres herself posted one final update to her private research blog. I understand now. It's not coming through the mirror. It's always been here, watching from every reflection, waiting for us to notice. And once you truly see it, it sees you too. She hasn't been seen since March 3rd, 2020. Her apartment was found empty except for a single mirror, untouched in the bathroom. On its surface, written in condensation that police reports indicate could not be wiped away, were the words, "I am Sam." The pattern has accelerated since 2020. The proliferation of screens, cameras, and reflective surfaces has created a world where Sam has unlimited windows. What's most disturbing is the entity's evolution. In earlier cases, victims reported seeing Sam in one reflective surface at a time. Current reports indicate simultaneous appearances across multiple devices and surfaces. It's learning, adapting, growing stronger. The entity appears to feed on fear and recognition. Those who notice it, who truly see it, become marked. This explains why so many victims cover mirrors before their disappearance or death, a final, futile attempt to break its gaze. But Sam doesn't need mirrors anymore, not in a world where the average person encounters dozens of reflective surfaces daily. Your phone, your computer, your television, your windows, your car windshield, even the reflection in someone else's eyes. In 2023, the first documented case of multiple witnesses occurred. 5 members of a book club in Savannah, Georgia, simultaneously reported seeing someone else reflected in the sliding glass door of their meeting place. All 5 described identical features: hollow eyes, slightly asymmetrical face, expression of hungry curiosity. Within a week, 3 members were found dead from unexplained internal desiccation. 2 remain missing. The investigation was suddenly closed by federal authorities citing jurisdictional issues. No further information has been released. The most recent confirmed case occurred just 6 weeks ago. College student Miguel Reyes posted in an online paranormal discussion forum about seeing someone wearing a human face in his dorm room mirror. His post included a photo that appeared to show a normal reflection, but users who downloaded the image reported that when viewed at certain angles, a different face became visible. The post and all replies were deleted within hours. Miguel's roommate reported him missing the next morning. Campus police found Miguel's room empty except for his phone placed directly in front of his mirror. The phone contained a single voice memo recording, time-stamped 3:17 a.m., consisting of 2 minutes of silence, followed by a whispered voice that sound analysts have confirmed was not Miguel's, saying only, "I am here now." What makes the entity known as Sam uniquely terrifying is its patience. Unlike other paranormal phenomena that attack immediately, Sam watches, studies patterns, learns. Some victims report seeing it briefly for years before the manifestations intensify. It waits until you question your sanity, until you're vulnerable, isolated, unable to trust your own perception. Then it steps through. Official explanations have evolved over decades to dismiss evidence of the entity. In the 1950s, incidents were attributed to female hysteria or coal miners' lung-causing hallucinations. By the 1980s, it was mass psychogenic illness or contaminated water supplies. Modern incidents are typically classified as digital manipulation or online challenge hoaxes. The explanations change, but the pattern remains consistent. The authorities arrive, evidence disappears, cases close, questions remain unanswered. Dr. Eliza Montgomery, formerly with the Department of Psychological Research at an undisclosed federal agency, broke her non-disclosure agreement in 2022 to reveal that a specialized unit has been monitoring these incidents since at least 1973. According to Montgomery, the unit, codenamed Glass House, does not exist to protect the public but to control information. "They don't want to stop it," her statement read before her social media accounts were suspended. "They want to understand it, potentially use it." Montgomery's final communication, sent to select journalists including this one, contained a disturbing theory. The entity requires recognition to fully manifest. When you see it, really see it, you create a connection. What we perceive as mirrors and screens aren't barriers, they're thresholds, and we are inviting it through every time we look. Montgomery was reported missing 3 days after her statement. Her home was found in perfect order except for her bathroom. Every reflective surface had been shattered. Written on the bathroom wall, in what forensic analysis identified as Montgomery's handwriting, was a single sentence: "Don't look for me. I am with Sam now." The most troubling aspect of this phenomenon is its increasing frequency. Data compiled from police reports, paranormal forums, and witness testimonies indicates a 300% increase in potential Sam incidents since 2020. The common denominator appears to be awareness. Those who learn about Sam, who actively look for it, become more likely to see it, and those who see it become targets. Former Glass House analyst Peter Merrick theorized in his classified report, later leaked online briefly before being completely scrubbed from the internet, that Sam is not a single entity but a reflection species that has existed alongside humanity throughout history. Merrick pointed to folklore from various cultures describing entities that could be glimpsed in reflective surfaces. the German doppelganger, Japanese ungaikyo mirror spirits, and the Bloody Mary legend. What we're experiencing now, Merrick suggested, is not a new phenomenon, but an ancient one adapting to our increasingly reflective world. Merrick was found dead in his home office in 2021, facing his computer monitor. The official cause was heart failure, but leaked first responder reports described his eyes as completely white, as if bleached from the inside. His computer contained a single open document with the text, "I see you seeing me, seeing you." The true nature of Sam remains unknown. Is it an interdimensional entity? A psychological phenomenon that manifests physically? A government experiment gone wrong? The truth may be more disturbing than any theory. What we do know is that it watches, it waits, and it wants something from us. Most disturbing is the connection between awareness and manifestation. Simply knowing about Sam seems to increase the likelihood of encountering it. This presents an ethical dilemma for those investigating the phenomenon. By sharing this information, am I potentially marking new targets? Perhaps, but the alternative, allowing this entity to continue operating in darkness, seems far worse. Protective measures have been documented with varying degrees of success. Covering or removing reflective surfaces appears to slow manifestations but not prevent them entirely. Some survivors report that refusing to acknowledge the entity, literally not reacting when seeing it, has allowed them to escape the typical fatal pattern. Others claim that having multiple light sources eliminating shadows can prevent Sam from fully forming in reflections. None of these measures are guaranteed. The most effective protection, according to the research of Dr. Montgomery before her disappearance, is never being alone with your reflection. The entity requires a one-to-one connection, her note stated. Multiple observers create a diffusion effect that appears to prevent full manifestation. Whether this is true remains unverified, as most victims are found alone. The digital expansion of Sam's domain presents unprecedented dangers. In the past, one could avoid mirrors. Today, we live surrounded by dark screens, reflective windows, and camera lenses, all potential thresholds. Your phone screen when it goes dark, your laptop when it sleeps, your television when it's turned off, your car windows at night, even the reflection in another person's glasses. Sam has endless windows now. One particularly troubling case from 2022 involved a viral video where viewers claimed they could see someone else reflected in the filmmaker's eyes. The video was viewed 3.7 million times before being removed. In the following week, police departments in 23 countries reported a spike in missing persons cases. No connection was officially acknowledged. Why is this being hidden from the public? Former intelligence officer William Davis suggested in an anonymous interview that the cover-up stems from fear, not of the entity, but of public panic. Imagine telling people that every reflective surface might contain something watching them, he said. The psychological and economic impact would be catastrophic. Davis disappeared 3 weeks after this interview. His home was found empty except for his phone, placed carefully in front of his bathroom mirror. The entity appears to have rules, patterns, limitations. It cannot or does not fully manifest without recognition. It requires a psychological invitation, a moment of doubt, fear, or vulnerability. It prefers isolated targets. It needs time to study its victim before complete manifestation. Understanding these rules might be our only defense. Recent incidents suggest the entity is adapting, evolving. Reports from 2024 indicate victims seeing Sam not just in reflective surfaces, but in the reflections within reflections. A mirror reflecting another mirror, a phone screen capturing a window, the reflection in someone's eyes seen through a camera lens. It's finding paths through increasingly complex reflective geometries, creating networks of observation. The most recent development, and perhaps the most alarming, involves digital photographs. 4 separate cases in the past year describe individuals noticing someone else in the background of their photos, not at the time the picture was taken, but when reviewing the images later. In all 4 cases, the individuals reported that the figure became clearer, more defined, each time they viewed the image. All 4 individuals are now missing. You might be wondering why you've never heard of Sam before. The answer is simple and terrifying. Systematic suppression. Information about the entity is routinely scrubbed from the internet. News stories are reframed as ordinary disappearances or deaths. Witnesses are discredited or silenced. Even as I compile this report, I know its availability will be limited, its reach contained. Those who control information understand all too well. Awareness spreads SAM, but ignorance allows it to hunt undetected. The truth exists in a precarious balance. Too little information leaves potential victims defenseless. Too much information creates new targets. I've chosen to share what I've learned because the pattern is accelerating. More people are disappearing. More mirrors are being shattered in empty homes. More whispered warnings are being shared before accounts go silent. What do we know with certainty? The entity called SAM manifests through reflective surfaces. It selects victims who are psychologically vulnerable. It observes before acting. Its endgame appears to be some form of substitution or consumption. Victims disappear or are found dead with evidence suggesting extreme dehydration. It has existed for decades, possibly centuries, adapting to new technologies that offer reflective surfaces. What can you do? Awareness without fear is your best defense. SAM feeds on terror, on the moment when recognition turns to panic. If you see something unusual in a reflection, a face that's not quite right, eyes where they shouldn't be, a smile that doesn't belong to the person wearing it, don't react, don't acknowledge. Turn away calmly and seek the presence of others. The entity thrives in isolation. Being alone with your reflection creates the perfect conditions for contact. Multiple observers appear to create a diffusion effect that weakens its ability to manifest. Simply put, don't look into mirrors alone. Most importantly, question coincidences. If you've learned about SAM and suddenly notice unusual reflections, strange faces glimpsed from the corner of your eye, electronics behaving erratically, particularly screens turning on or off unexpectedly, these may not be coincidences. The entity makes its presence known gradually, testing your perception, your vulnerability, your willingness to rationalize. Are you at risk now simply by learning about SAM? Perhaps. Knowledge creates awareness. Awareness creates attention. Attention creates focus. Focus creates recognition. And recognition is what it needs. But remember, throughout history, humanity's greatest predators have always hunted most successfully from the shadows of ignorance. I'm sharing this information despite the risks because the pattern is accelerating. More people are encountering SAM every day in our increasingly reflective world. If we cannot stop it, we can at least understand it, prepare for it, maybe even survive it. As I conclude this report, I've removed or covered every reflective surface in my immediate environment. My screens are angled to prevent reflection. My phone is in a drawer. This may seem like paranoia, but I've studied the pattern long enough to recognize the signs. 3 times while writing this, my screen has gone black momentarily. 3 times I've felt the sensation of being watched. 3 times I've resisted the urge to look directly at the darkness. Now you know about SAM. Now you might see it too. If you do, remember, don't show fear. Don't acknowledge it. Don't let it know you've truly seen it. Because once you do, it sees you too, and it never stops watching. If you've read this far, you're already part of the story. Check your surroundings. Notice the reflective surfaces near you. Your screen right now, any windows, mirrors, metal surfaces, glass picture frames, all potential windows for observation. One final warning. If you suddenly feel compelled to look at your reflection, right now, this moment, resist. That compulsion isn't coming from you. It's being planted. It's invitation. I've told you what I know. I've shared what I've learned. What happens next depends on whether you glance at your darkened screen when you finish reading, whether you check your reflection to reassure yourself, whether you truly see what's been watching you all along. Whatever you do, remember, SAM is patient, SAM is persistent, and SAM is always watching.